Morning, Passion, and welcome to Passion Live at 7:45. We are back, and we're excited to be with you again. We took a little break for the summer, and that's okay, but we're back at it. So this school year, we're actually going to be focusing on, surprise, surprise, the spiritual disciplines. So we're going to have someone get on here every Thursday right now. We might change the date in there. We'll see. We'll all get some feedback from you guys and see if Thursdays are good. If you think that a different week would be better, please feel free to comment below and let me know if you think a different day of the week would be more beneficial or better for you. But right now we do this on Thursdays. And so every Thursday, one of the leaders from Passion Student Ministries is going to get on here and they're going to give you a short devotional about whatever spiritual discipline that we're focusing on for that month. So for the month of September, we are knocking out two spiritual disciplines, and those are prayer and meditation. And so I thought it was ironic what Pastor Jenny was talking about a couple weeks ago, just out of Psalm 46:10, where it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Like, it was just kind of confirmation that it's just all working together. And that she would unpack such a powerful message about just being still and knowing that God is God in the midst of all of it. And so even last night in Tribes, we unpacked that just a little bit more. And so I wanted to piggyback off all of that. And I was reading something the other day, and I think it's in the book Why Revival Tarries, and it talks about how a praying man, I'm sorry, a sinning man will stop praying, but a praying man stops sinning. And it's so important to take those times and to just get quiet before God. Like, discover who He is, discover who He has for you to be. It's important to remind your situations and the things that you have going on that week that God is still God. Even in the midst of some of the craziest seasons of my life, those moments when I just got still in His presence, it reminded me that God is really in control of every situation that I'm in the midst of. He never stops looking out for me. He never stops seeing me. He never stops wanting to know me and wanting to be known by me. Which is just so crazy to think about, that the God of the universe actually wants you to get to know Him. But the beauty of that is that the more time that we spend with God, the more time that we become like Him. There are a lot of things that I do, like some of my friends. I think it annoys my husband a little bit. I start picking up some of their mannerisms and the way that they say things and different things that they do. And it's not because I mean to or intend to. I don't intentionally tell myself to, repeat things the way that they say them. It just kind of naturally happens because I spend time with them. And so, wouldn't it be cool if we just naturally became like God? Like, when it stopped feeling like work and it stopped feeling like you were trying to follow some rule or some law, that you just kind of started becoming like God because you started spending time with Him. Like, that we were so enamored with Jesus and enamored with God that we spent so much time in His presence that we actually just started doing things the way that He would do them. Not because we worked hard at it or it came under sanctification, which it does, but it would be really cool if that happened naturally. Now, granted, I'm not discounting the idea of hard work when it comes to that. I think that cultivating the right kind of person that you are, it takes time and it takes work. But I am saying that maybe some of the rougher edges that we have, maybe those could come under sanctification more naturally than us just trying to berate ourselves into it. Spending time in God's presence, getting to know Him, just being still. It took me back when Pastor Jenny first started reading that verse. It took me back to summer camp when we all just kind of sat and it was just quiet and it was just us and God. Like, there was no noise, there was nothing. And the beauty of that moment was that we had nothing else to do. Like, we had nowhere else to be. We didn't need to go do the dishes or pick up our room or do homework or talk to someone or return this person's Instagram message. All we had to do in that moment was sit there. And I think we get so scared of that. We get so scared of just sitting in quiet and silence and just listening. But I think we'd be surprised by what God has to say to us in the moments that we took to really listen. But the reality of that is that I think that sometimes we're scared of who we are in those moments. I think sometimes we get scared of who we see in the moments when, we're not trying to be something else, when we're not trying to be someone else, when it's just us and God and there's nothing to hide behind. There's no pretty words or music playing. There's nothing. It's just us. Um, and so one thing that I would love to tell you today is that you're enough. Like you're enough for God to come and visit just you by yourself in the quiet, um, without ambiance, without anything. He wants you to know him, and he wants to spend time with you, and he wants you to spend time with him. So I would encourage you this week to carve out some time to be still, get to know and remind yourself that God is still God in every situation and in everything. Um, Take a moment to, if you need to, just bask in how great of a big God He is. Um, and get to know God in the areas that you need Him. You know what I mean? Like if you have situations that seem overwhelming, get to know how big God is. Like get to see all the things that He's done and all the miracles that He's performed. If you're hurting and you need some love, get to know God in the area of love. If you need some support, get to know God in the area of strength. Uncover who God is in the areas that you need Him most. He wants more than anything to fulfill those areas for you. But so often we go to other things and we run to other things and we run to our friends to support us and we run to this to comfort us. But man, God wants to be all that you need. And the cool thing is that God is big enough to fulfill every need that you have. So I encourage you again to just carve out some time, be still, get to know that God, get to know who God is, and, get to know who He wants you to be. I think that's important. So we're praying for you here at Passion Student Ministries. We hope you all have a great rest of